Most asked interview question in a DevOps as a DevOps engineer. Can you please explain your project? Yes, this is the question that has been asked in almost all of the interview. Once they will ask you to introduce yourself and to tell your day-to-day task as a DevOps engineer. The next question is, can you please explain your project? And this is also been asked in almost all of my interview. Hello everyone. So in today's video, I will explain how we can tell about our project as a DevOps engineer. And if you find this video useful and it adds value to your learning, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Now, without further delay, let's start this video. So suppose you are giving interview for any of the MNC startup or any company as a DevOps engineer, and you are someone who is already experienced. Then how you can explain your project? So before you will name any of the DevOps tools, like you are working on Azure cloud or AWS, you are using Terraform as infrastructure as code or any of the CI/CD tool. Firstly, you should tell about your project, what actually you are doing. Before naming any of the DevOps tools, first tell what the platform does. If you are someone working in retail, supply chain, or banking, so explain what the platform actually does. Frame your project around enterprise data movement. So here is how you can start. You can start by saying, in my project, I've worked on a centralized Azure or AWS cloud integration platform for a large retail enterprise. Once the interviewer will understands the domain, then shift immediately to your contribution, what actually you are doing in that project, how you build and automate the infrastructure. Don't say if you are working with Azure, like you created resources in Azure portal. Platform production platforms demand infrastructure as code and structured API governance. So here is how you can tell about the infrastructure as code. You can say, as the dedicated DevOps engineer, I collaborated closely with the solution architect to design our deployment and platform strategy from scratch. If you are someone who have worked on the project when it started, if you have joined in middle, then you can answer in that way. For infrastructure as code, we used modular Bicep template or Terraform rather than Armor portal clicks, which we can do on Azure. We parameterized all environment configuration like networking, Azure SQL, and Azure Key Vault access policies. So our entire infrastructure could be easily reproduced across dev, staging, and production environments without a configuration drift. And in the same way, you can explain about the integration components, like how you managed APIM through dynamic API ops practice instead of static configuration, how you automated the deployment of API backends, named value products, and SQL subscription filter on service bus. So using a multi-stage YAML pipeline, all this you can mention. Now you can walk them through the actual deployment lifecycle from a Git commit to production. You can say it clearly, like firstly which tool you are using, like GitHub Action or Jenkins, or is your DevOps pipeline, how you have implemented a multi-stage YAML pipeline. How on pull request the automated CI pipeline runs, it build and run the test, and how it create the artifact, and then that artifact is being used in the deploy pipeline. So the whole process then we can explain. Once a dev deployment will be completed, then with our manual approval, we deploy to our staging or QA environment, and then comes the production. So we need to we need to answer in this way, how we have implemented the RBAC, everything. You should always explain like this every time your project, whenever you will be asked. So don't just tell the name of the tool, explain how that actually works, and what actually your project is doing, in which domain you are working, and how you are creating the resource in that project, how your CI and CD works. All these things you should explain in whenever you will be asked about your project. So you can explain in this way. I hope this video will help you whenever you will be giving your next interview. If you have any query, you can ask in the comment, or You can DM on my Insta as well. Thank you for watching.